I could go now.
Uh-huh.
There is 3 seconds delay.
Yeah, I can hear you.
There is 3 seconds delay. So
I
let me
can hear
go.
you. I can hear you.
Okay. So my name is Mika Langat from Kenya Institute of Professional Counseling, and I want to define mental health, also with an emphasis of the context in which we are having this conversation, Kenya particularly. Mental World Health Organization defines mental health as the state of being healthy, and it emphasizes the fact that you're not just recognizing the state of healthy by the absence of disease. It says that mental health is the fullness of health when you can enjoy healthy living, and then without necessarily saying looking at your life as you are not sick. So it looks at mental health as something more than that. It looks at it as an abstract well-being that transcends beyond what is there. So we look at it, what is there. We don't define you as healthy based on what's there. We also need to define you on what we cannot see. And I mentioned that because as Kenya, we've been using Mental Health Act of 1992 for a very long time until 2021 when we got a new Mental Health Act that looks at mental health in a respectful, dignified manner. Like for example, previously in Kenya, it was a criminal offense to attempt suicide. So it was not dignified. It was not looking at the fact that the person who is attempting to take away their life by suicide were sick by an illness that is not visible, that we cannot see with our physical eyes.
All right. All right.
Yeah,
Thank you so much for that. Thank you. Thank you. I believe we can give Langat a round of applause. Give Langat a round of applause for a very good definition that is given to us. It's quite good. Now, to anyone who is joining in, I just want to tell you that we normally hold various virtual sessions. And in these sessions, believe you me, engagement is very, very important. Now, today's topic of discussion is mental health. And someone might be wondering, why am I speaking about mental health? Why are we championing for mental health? Because let me tell you, if you're not okay mentally, it's always going to be bad for you. All right. You can never be productive. It's not going to work so well for you. So I think we need to give Langard another round of applause for the definition that is given to us in terms of mental health. Give Langard a round of applause on the same, because as we are still talking about the issue on mental health. And so I'm going to be talking about mental health today. But when I'm discussing mental health, I will use. Can you guys hear me? If you can hear me, just give me a thumbs up. If you can hear me, give me a thumbs up. If I'm okay, Onesmus, are you here? Onesmus, are you around? Onesmus, I want to hear you.
Yes. Bwana Elvis, I'm around. You had muted me.
Oh, sauti iko sawa?
Iko sawa kabisa.
Bas. Sawa. Now, Onesmus is
Tuende
part of my
kazi.
team. Onesmus is part of my team, so usijali when I ask about Onesmus. Very well. So we will start our very simple session today, and we are going to be talking about mental health. You see, mental health is a topic that is discussed all around. And remember, now to anyone who is part of my Telegram channel, there is a document I shared with you guys. Na nikawambia, make sure that you have that document with you at hand. So how many guys? Give me a thumbs up, or give me a just tell me whether you have the document. Give me a thumbs up if you are able to pass through the document. If you are able to get to pass through the document that I shared with you. Very well. So in this session, we will discuss about mental health. We'll talk about mental health. So now, I'm going to be using PowerPoint presentations. And today happens to be the 24th of January, 2024. That is a Wednesday. And the first thing is, what is mental health? What is mental health? By definition, how can someone define mental health? And ladies and gentlemen, mental health refers to our cognitive, behavioral, and emotional well being. Mental health refers to, number one, listen to that, your cognitive, behavioral, emotional well being. All right. It's about how people think, feel, and behave. You need to get that. It is about how people think, feel, and behave. That is how we define mental health. All right. It's important for you to understand clearly what mental health is. There are a lot of people who will talk about mental health. There are people who will tell you this about mental health. But that's a very simple definition of mental health. Now, it is a state of well being in which an individual realizes their own abilities, can cope with the normal stresses of life. Listen to that. You are able to cope with the normal stresses of life. Right now, you're complaining about economy. But if you're mentally healthy, believe me, you will be able to cope with the stresses that you have today. You can also work productively. If you're employed, you're able to actually work productively very easily, no issue. And at the same time, you're also able to make a contribution to the community. That is a very, very simple definition of mental health. Now, we need to discuss the importance of mental health in our lives. What is the importance of mental health in our lives? The first one, and really, I want everyone to really concentrate in this, because let me tell you, mental health is not something that you should take for granted. Mental health is that particular topic of discussion that people take for granted, but it is quite important for you to remember this. Now, mental health is crucial at every stage of life. It is very crucial at every stage of life, from childhood to adolescence, all the way to adulthood. All right. Now, mental health basically impacts our lives, relationships, and even our physical health. That's something we have to understand. Now, good mental health allows people to do the following. Number one, you're able to realize your full potential. When you have good mental health, you are able to realize your full potential. Number two, you're able to cope with stresses of life. Number three, you're able to work productively. And number four, you're able to make meaningful contributions to communities. You get, if you're mentally healthy, believe me, you will be able to realize your full potential. When you handle stress is actually going to be very easy for you. Productivity in your workplace is going to be easy. Then you're able to make meaningful contributions to your community. All right. Now, mental health and physical health are fundamentally linked. And that's why I say that good mental health is always equal to good physical health. Remember that. Now, I want you to put this in your mind. Good mental health is equals to good physical health. Now, in the chat section of this particular session, I want you to comment. Everyone needs to comment this. Good mental health is equals to good physical health. Comment with that. Comment that good mental health. Now, you can use the acronym MH for mental health and PH for physical health. Just say good mental health is equals to good physical health. Note that every person, you should be saying good MH is equals to good PH. We all need to understand that. Good mental health is equals to good physical health. That's very important for us to understand. We move on to the next particular section. And here, I'm going to be demystifying common misconceptions about mental health. This one is going to be very serious. Myths and misconceptions about mental health. I've only listed three of them. The first myth is that mental health problems are rare. Let me not lie to you. She does a mental health. When it comes to mental health problems, these are problems that you're going to find left, right, and center all over the country. All right, all over the country, people are suffering from mental health problems, and that's why I say the fact is that mental health problems are actually very common. Now, globally, more than 1 in 10 people live with a mental health disorder. So the myth that mental health problems are rare is false. And the fact is that mental health problems are actually very, very common. Okay. Myth number two is that people with mental health issues are violent and unpredictable. Most people think that mtu fulani ako na mashida za mental health, hawa ni wale watu aggressive, angry, unpredictable, they are violent. No. We have to state a fact and say that mental health itself, the majority of people with mental health issues are no more likely to be violent than anyone else. Kuna mtu hata utapata someone doesn't have any mental health problems, but they are very violent by nature. So there is no way of subjecting someone saying that wewe uko na mental health problems. You must be very aggressive, you must be very bad, you can fight everyone. Now, most people with mental health illness or mental illness are not violent, and only a percentage of violence is attributable to individuals living with mental health disorders. You need to get that. Myth number 3 is that mental health problems are a sign of weakness. People think that because you are facing mental health problems that you have weakness. No, there is no weakness. Now, mental health issues are not the result of personal weakness, lack of character, or poor upbringing. All right. Mental health disorders result from a complex interplay of number one, the factors that might cause some mental health disorders are number one, genetic factors. We have biological factors, environmental factors, and psychological factors. All right. Now, as we proceed on, we have to understand the difference between mental health. We have to understand the difference between mental health and mental illness. Mental health versus mental illness. Now, what is mental health? Now, mental health is a state of well being in which an individual realizes their own abilities, copes with normal life stresses, works productively, and contributes to their community. All right? Each and every person who lives in the world today, for the over 8 billion of us, everyone has mental health, just like physical health, your cognitive abilities. All right? Every person has something to do or to talk about when it comes to mental health. Now, what is mental illness? And get me when I'm here. And by the way, let me just share a disclaimer with you guys. I'm not a medical doctor. I'm not a psychologist. I'm only a person who believes in facts and believes in solving a problem, not only by relying on research and the rest. I mostly tend to be realistic. Yeah. So the reason I'm sharing this with you, this is actually researched information. I've taken some time to research on the same, and I'm sharing it with you. So now I think I should get a round of applause for that, ladies and gentlemen, for doing that anyway. Nikianza kuokota sadaka sahi bwana, nianze kuambia kila mtu bwana 1,000 shillings each. Already I'll have over 200,000. So anyway, we are discussing mental illness, and we will talk about mental illness. So mental illness refers to a wide range of mental health conditions or disorders that affect your mood, your thinking, and your behavior. Now, some of the examples of mental illnesses are number one, depression, number two, anxiety disorders, schizophrenia, eating disorders, and addictive behaviors. Yeah, sometimes, let me give you a brief example. Yeah? You see, there are guys who masturbate. Yeah, masturbation. You see, masturbation is something we have to call it the way it is. That one is an addictive behavior, and it is a mental illness. There are people who have eating disorders. There are people who have these and these problems. And please correct me if I'm wrong. Depression is also a mental illness that you have to understand. Then we also have anxiety disorders, and then we also have schizophrenia. That's a name. It's a tough name, but anyway, we'll try and pronounce it. Now, are we together up to that point, ladies and gentlemen? If you're together, just give me a thumbs up. Kama tuko pamoja, give me a thumbs up. Okay. If you're watching directly on TikTok, just comment with a thumbs up. Kama tuko pamoja. If we are pamoja, kama tuko pamoja, kama serikali ya who, give me a thumbs up. Well, okay, good. I can see the reception is great. Okay, so we have been talking about mental illness, and now we will discuss types of mental illness. The first type of mental illness is depression. And depression is a mood disorder that is characterized by persistent feelings of sadness and loss of interest. Now, give me a thumbs up if any person over here, me being one of them, if you've suffered from depression. Give me a thumbs up. Don't be afraid. If you've had a problem with depression, give me a thumbs up. Usiogope, even on TikTok, if you've had a problem with depression, give me a thumbs up. It's quite normal. And you have to understand that depression is a mood disorder characterized by persistent feelings of sadness and loss of interest. That is quite common. The second kind of mental illness is anxiety disorders. All right. This is basically a group of disorders where the primary symptoms are just anxiety or defenses against anxiety. Now, how many people happen to have anxiety disorders? Give me a thumbs up if you might sometimes from time to time uko na anxiety disorder. And remember, I'm not a doctor, I'm a realist. You see, most of the doctors will not share this with you, but I'm really trying as much as I can. You understand? Then we move on to the next one, which is bipolar disorder. Bipolar disorder is a disorder associated with episodes of mood swings ranging from depressive lows to manic highs. Does anyone over here happen to have bipolar disorder? It's not very common, yes. Okay, I can see that. But feel free. Don't feel no one is victimizing you over here. This one is a discussion. So yeah. Now here are some of the causes and risk factors for mental illness. All right. The first one are biological factors. The first one is biological factors. And by biological factors, we have genetics. All right. So we probably have a family history of mental illness that can actually increase the risk. Number two is brain chemistry. I think the guys who treat brains and problems are neurosurgeons. So a biological factor will be brain chemistry, where you have an imbalance in the brain's chemical messengers. And the chemical messengers in your brain are called neurotransmitters that could actually lead to mental disorders. So remember, we are talking about causes and risk factors for mental illness. And we've said that we have biological factors. The first one is genetics, where it's basically hereditary from family to family. All right. Then we have brain chemistry. Brain chemistry is basically imbalances in the brain's chemical messengers. Now, the brain's chemical messengers are referred to as neurotransmitters that can actually lead to mental disorders. Number two, we have environmental factors. Environmental factor number one would be something like trauma. Trauma, an example of an environmental factor is abuse, neglect, or basically witnessing violence. So let's say as a kid, you are frequently seeing your father batter your mother, or the other way around, or you experienced much of these as a child. That is kind of abuse. You are actually going to always have mental health disorders. So let's say you have a child, and where you leave your child for 2 days and you go doing sherehe. Believe me, that child is going to have mental health disorders because of something like like neglect. That's something you have to understand. Then we also have stressful life events. These ones might be basically you lost your loved one, your parent, your brother, your sister. You can be encountering financial problems or basically high stress. Okay? Then we have psychological factors. This one is quite common. Psychological factors, we have the first one, personal traits. You can have a trait such as perfectionism, all right, or low self-esteem that can actually increase the risk of you getting a mental health problem or a mental health illness. That is personal trait, all right. Then we also have childhood experiences, all right. Now, when you have early life experiences such as bullying or parental divorce, this one can actually lead or influence your mental health negatively, or probably bring in problems when it comes to you getting mental illnesses. All right. Now, are we still together up to that point, ladies and gentlemen? Tuko pamoja? Give me a thumbs up if we are together. Tuko pamoja? Are we still together? Okay. I see a good number of people are saying that tuko pamoja. We are discussing mental health today. Now, the cultural context of mental health in Kenya. How do we as Kenyans think about mental health? Now, mental health can actually be influenced by various cultural factors in Kenya, including number one, beliefs, norms, and values. Now, in many Kenyan communities, mental health issues are not often recognized as medical conditions, but may be attributed to spiritual or familial causes. Now, I'm going to ask this very simple question. Who has ever had mental health problems and ukakaa tu hivi ukafikiria that you've been cursed? Give me a thumbs up. If you've had mental health problems and you sit down and you're like, mimi nilirogwa. It is an issue with family. One thing is because we don't want to really comprehend the aspect of mental health in the modern world today. And what I'm saying, the most important thing that you have to understand is mental health is prevalent. But you see, to an extent, kidogo, as Africans, we have our own cultural, understanding and our beliefs and our values. Sometimes people don't take mental health seriously, and that's why you're finding a lot of people killing themselves. All right, because of societal perception. That is one. Now, the community's perception of mental health can significantly impact individuals' willingness to seek help and the type of help they seek. Kama kijiji yenu ukienda kuambia watu wa kijiji yenu uko na mental health problems, wanakuuliza hiyo ndio gani? Hiyo ni maneno gani mnatuambia hapa my friend? Hiyo wacha kutuambia. So that one will prevent you from even seeking help because you're like, this is too much. Now we have traditional healing practices and consultation with religious or community leaders are common approaches to addressing mental health issues. Let me tell you, mama yako kwa kijiji yenu, mama yako kwa kijiji yenu, akiwa na mental health problems, the first thing they do is that they run to the pastor. Yeah? They run to the pastor, ama you run to a traditional healer. And you see, these people will not treat you. All right? Pastor atakuombea na umpe sadaka. And then you return next week with the same mental health problem. You get? So we've not really tried to understand the impact of mental health issues and how we could actually solve it. Mara mingi, let me tell you, muchawi hata kusaidia in any way. When you have mental health problems, believe me, you have mental health problems. And that upeleke pastor yako 50,000, 100,000 shillings, that pastor is not going to help you with anyway. But you see, traditionally, when you have mental health problems, everyone, the first thing you think about is going to church. If not going to church, you're going to start thinking of probably how you're going to rush to the nearest whatever, but we don't want to adopt the best mental health practices. Now, we talk about stigma and mental health in Kenyan society. Now, stigma and misconceptions about mental health illness are actually prevalent in Kenya. We have a lot of misconceptions when it comes to people understanding mental health. Now, individuals with mental health issues may be labeled as crazy. Yeah, you'll hear that. Someone with a mental health problem is going to be told, well, my friend, kwani uko na shida ya akili wewe? Are you mad? So they will categorize it as crazy or weak, leading to social exclusion. Believe me, even men and women are experiencing that. When you go and tell your boyfriend that you have mental health problems, alafu wakuambia, ai, mtu wangu kwani uko na shida ya kichwa, tukupeleke Madhare. You see, when you hear something like that, you're going to even be depressed more. All right. So we have stigma and misconception when it comes to mental illness in Kenya. All right. Now, this stigma will actually prevent individuals from seeking professional help. Yeah. When you hear your boyfriend telling you unafaa kwenda Kamiti, yeah. When your boyfriend tells you you have to go to Kamiti or you have to go to Madhare because of your mental health problem, believe me, you're going to have that stigma and it's going to prevent you from seeking professional help due to the fear of actually being ostracized and being misunderstood. Believe me, most people, like I get calls, me, I'm not a psychologist. And that's the reason after why I've held this session, because most people have mental health problems, but they don't know where to start. Ukienda kwa huyu, anakwambia appointment is 50,000. So imagine a very young person, ako 21, umeenda ukamwambia appointment is 50,000, 20,000, 5,000. This person is not going to be able to talk to you. So I decided to create myself this particular session for you to understand what mental health is and the decisions and the approaches that you can take to take care of your mental health. Efforts to reduce stigma include, number one, public education. Public education. I've actually seen that being done quite a lot nowadays. We also have community outreach. Reach out to communities. People kijijini, people are dying and you think that wamekufa juu ya njaa. Kumbe this person has been depressed all along. Ni venye tu hakuli. You get? Because let me tell you, a depressed person is not going to be is not going to even have any physical energy to do anything. And basically, we need to involve influential community and religious leaders. Religious leaders need to be wapewe darasa. They are told, listen, this is what we need to do when it comes to basically handling mental health issues. And you see, if we used such an approach, if we used such an approach and decided that that's the best way to go, believe me, we'll solve majority of the problems that we have in Kenya today. But sasa tukiendelea tu hivyo, thinking about your pastor is going to charge you 50,000, yeah, anakuitisha mshahara, yeah. Let me just sort this one thing out here. Okay, so we are back. I was only making sure that my computer is charging, yeah? So that is in katikati in the process of us. Okay, so this next slide we will talk about culture's influence on perception and treatment. All right. So basically, cultural beliefs strongly influence. Now, give me a thumbs up. Tuko pamoja. Are we still together, ladies and gentlemen? Give me a thumbs up if we are still together. If you okay, very good. We are still together. Now, cultural beliefs strongly influence how mental illness is perceived and treated. All right. In some communities, mental illness may be perceived as a curse or a spiritual affliction, leading to reliance on traditional healers. You see, today in Kenya, let me tell you one thing. Nowadays, unapata someone is going to have a mental health problem and a mental illness, and it is actually treatable. It is treatable professionally through consultancy and even medically. But sasa unakuta mtu anapelekwa kanisa kutolewa mapepo. Hii mapepo, this person doesn't have demons. What they only need is they only need the right procedures. When I say the right procedures, I mean that this particular person needs to follow laid out procedures. You understand this person. You have your boyfriend, you have your girlfriend, anashinda tu akirusha tantrums. Then you start thinking that this person is cast. Mtu amerogwa huyu. Huyo venye anaongea. Sit this person down usikie. What is the problem? Now, Western psychiatric methods may sometimes clash with traditional beliefs, necessitating cultural sensitive approaches. There's a growing recognition of the need to integrate traditional and modern practices in mental health care, respecting cultural contexts while providing evidence-based treatment. Now, like kijiji yetu, I've come to see NGOs coming there and they are really championing for mental health. You see, most people have mental health problems. And you see, it's coming up because number one, people are broke, people don't have money. So when you start seeing someone is behaving in some way, unasema amerogwa, aliekewa mapepo, most of the time it's not even true. It is what we've perceived a lot as society, and yet this person has a problem that we could solve by just listening to them. Now, what in Kenya, what we will do is we will take this person to witches, and you see these witches will take advantage. Yeah, they are called witch doctors. They will take advantage. They will know how to capitalize on your problems, and they will make money from that. So that's why we are saying that we need to have an approach that really sensitizes on the importance of adopting modern practices to handle mental health, as well as observe cultural contexts. Now, and be very keen with me, ladies and gentlemen, we are getting to spice up this problem. Now, here are some common signs of mental health problems. And I would like you to be very, very attentive, extremely attentive. Are we still together, ladies and gentlemen? Give me a thumbs up, kama tuko pamoja. Be very attentive when as we talk about this. Common signs of mental health problems. The first one is changes in your mood. All right? By changes in your mood, I mean persistent sadness, unakaa tu hivi, you're always sad. You have irritability or fluctuations in your mood. Ukirealize your mood is changing from time to time, you are finding, I man say this, your persistent sadness, you're not happy. That is basically one of a sign of mental health problems. Number 2 is withdrawal. I recently made a video na nikasema, I said, stop calling yourself an introvert. Probably you have a mental health problem. Wewe hujui, wewe unashindanga tu online unajiita introvert. But in real sense, what you're suffering from is a mental health problem. So avoiding social interactions, loss of interest in activities once enjoyed. Kuna mtu hawezi toka kwa nyumba aende and engage with some activities with people. Why? This person has withdrawal. And withdrawal is another sign and a common sign of mental health problems. Number 3, changes in eating or sleeping habits. And please get this, because 90 or even, I think, let me say 75% of young people are suffering from this. Changes in eating or sleeping habits. Now, if you experience significant weight loss or gain, I remember there's a time I was depressed, but I didn't know. My friend, I nilitoka kilo 56 to 78 in a period of 3 months, just because of depression, all right, which is a mental health problem. You can also get to lose your weight. That's why unapata mtu anakuja. You see, but in Kenya, you see, societal perceptions, when you start gaining weight, people think that you're getting a lot of money. And yet, probably, this person is having a serious problem. It's a mental health problem, all right? And at the same time, you might find that the reason they're eating so much, the reason they're gaining weight is because they're eating so much. Why? Because they have a mental health problem, all right? Number 2, and this one I'll have to ask, give me a thumbs up or raise your hand if you happen to have a problem on insomnia. Kama uko na shida ya insomnia, you're unable to sleep. You are unable to sleep. Believe me, na leo hatuko kanisa. Me, I'm giving you solutions today that should help you. All right? Most people suffer from insomnia. My friend, kuna mtu ataingia kwa kitanda, someone is going to get into bed, and within 4 hours hajalala. Imefika saa 7, they have not slept. Amescroll simu, they have not slept. Imefika 4 a.m, they have not slept. 5 a.m, they have not slept. 6 a.m, hawajalala. 7 a.m, ndo kidogo kidogo usingizi inafika, but they have to go to work. Are you telling me that person is going to work vizuri? Huyo mtu hatafanya kazi vizuri. You see, insomnia is very common. And then finally, we have oversleeping. Nasikiza, my friend. If you're a young person and you're sleeping over 8 hours, or let's say unajikuta unalala 12 hours like a toddler, there is something wrong with your sleeping habits, all right? And that actually needs to be scrutinized, because it's probably a mental health problem. Then we have cognitive changes. Now, cognitive changes are basically you have difficulty concentrating, you have memory problems or confused thinking. Yeah, we have people, bwana, unasahau vitu. When you start realizing that you're forgetting things, especially one of the effects of masturbation is that you start getting memory problems. Unaulizwa kitu uliona jana, unasema kai, ni nini hiyo nilio jana, kuna kitu gai, mimi sikumbuki hiyo kitu Kevo, usinikumbushe hiyo kitu bana. You might think that it's forgetting, but my friend, it's a mental health problem that is coming to you. You find like there's a lady I know, she was really heartbroken some time back, and unakuta dem hata amesahau kuoperate computer because of cognitive changes. Yeah, that is, you're having difficulty concentrating. Ukipewa kitabu usome, unasoma page 1, page 2, ukifika page 3 huwezi soma past that. That's a sign of a mental health problem. We also have physical symptoms. Physical symptoms, these are actually very, very common. Physical symptom number 1 is unexplained aches. X ama ni nini? Hii kitu inaitwa whatever the name. Then pains. Uko tu hivi, you're just seated in your house, all of a sudden umeanza kuumwa, you're like, what is happening? Let me tell you, that's a sign. That's one of the signs of mental health problems. Unexplained problems, you have fatigue, you have decreased energy. It's quite common. Yeah. So this one is just signs of mental health problems. Then we also have emotional distress. Yeah, this one is very common when you have the problem of you're feeling hopeless. This one is common. You're feeling hopeless. you have excessive fears or worries, kila time you excessive fears or worries. Then you have extreme feelings of guilt, you're feeling guilty, uko na fears kila wakati, you're feeling hopeless. I used to have a hopeless girlfriend. I remember this one. This one I used to have a hopeless one. Huyo nilijaribu kila kitu. Before we understood it was a mental health problem. Huyu dem alikuwa ashatembea. And you see, it's because she's feeling hopeless when she's employed, she doesn't want to, all these things. But at the end of it all, you have to understand that these are basically signs and symptoms of mental health problems. All right. Then we have behavioral changes. Wacha nikuambie kitu moja. You see, in Kenya right now, people are not drinking. People are not drinking because they have money to drink. Zikudanganyi 100%. People are not engaging in alcohol and substance abuse because they like doing it. No, they don't like doing it. It is because of behavioral changes, which is basically an effect or a common sign of mental health. All right. So when you start finding yourself engaging in substance abuse, kidogo kidogo, umeanza kuvuta bangi, umeanza kukunywa sigara, kunywa shisha, yeah, these are behavioral changes that just show that you have a mental health problem. And then you have aggressive behaviors. Demu yako ameanza kukupiga makofi and she was very nice. Your boyfriend all of a sudden ameanza kukutusi all the insults, anakuita punda, anakuambia we nugu. When you find those kinds of behaviors, these are just basically signs of someone who is having an underlying mental health problem. Or basically you can actually find drastic changes in habits or personality. Believe me, I think you guys have seen what has happened to majority of musicians. Unakuta jamaa was very good, very nice. All of a sudden ameanza bangi. All of a sudden tabia zake zimeharibika. Like I remember there's a time I used to listen to, most of these musicians don't know that they have mental health problems. I used to like listening to Willie Paul. But all of a sudden akaanza kuchange. Whatever happens, you can see what happens with Bahati. Yeah. Most of the time these people will think that it is life, but frankly enough, let me just not lie to you. The fact of the matter is behavioral changes. Ukiona mtu hajawai vuta bangi ameanza kuvuta bangi, mtu alikuwa kanisa all of a sudden magic zenga. You see these people all of a sudden behavioral changes, ameanza kuongea vibaya. Like you're going to find someone on social media was a very good content creator. Mimi nakutana na jamaa, I remember this guy was creating content na naona saa hii yeye ni mwanamke. I don't know how that is happening. I used to see a guy in his TikTok account. Sasa right now mimi naona mwanamke and najiuliza, you don't understand what is happening, because you see it's a mental health problem, but most of these people don't want to seek help because of what? We have stigmatization in Africa, we have stigmatization in Kenya. Unapata dem, like I was looking at a certain chick, very nice chick, alikuwa anavaa vizuri sana. Sahi bana, she's competing with us men in the market. She's wearing like a man, akona tattoo bana, design, anaongea kaa Morio. Oya, naitwa she. And you see this person, you might think that it's their personality. Yeah, it's their personality. By the way, if I'm really sorry to say this, but for me, I don't know how to save my words. I speak facts as they are. Pole, but sometimes mimi unajua me, I like using facts as they are. So pole kama if nikikuuma kidogo, I'm really sorry about that. I don't want to talk about Andrew Kibe because I rarely watch him. But anyway, whatever. Andrew Kibe is the same. The guy used to be a pastor. All of a sudden, ndio puny huku hivi, which is true, by the way. You can see it. It's like one day, ladies and gentlemen. Let me ask you a question. Siku moja mukute Elvis anatusi watu town. Ama you wake up one day and then you find Elvis in a bar shouting and screaming like he's never drank alcohol again. You see, that's a basic sign of behavioral change. And behavioral change can actually bring about aggressive behaviors, drastic changes in habits or personality. You find someone changing their personality. Unakuta kuna mtu mlikuwa mnasoma naye primary school or high school, all of a sudden kidogo kidogo alienda akaonja pombe. Right now kelele anapiga town, you can't even explain. So basically this is just a brief example of behavioral changes. Now we move on to the next step. When do you seek help? My friend, when do you seek help when you have mental health problems? Saa yenye umeona mtu wangu, when do you seek help? So when to seek help? When the symptoms persist, all right? And then you start to, and it starts to interfere with your daily life, work and relationships. I tell someone, ile siku yenye utaamka asubuhi, unasikia kupiga your boyfriend or you want to slap your girlfriend or you're feeling angered by your child, go and look for a psychiatrist, go and look for someone who can do guidance and counseling to you. Unasikia? Let me tell you, it is a fact. Mental health has killed many people, but people don't get to know that. Kidogo kidogo umeanza kukunywa pombe. You make a mistake, you go and sleep with someone who has HIV and AIDS. You have ruined your life. You get? Because someone who has mental health problems doesn't have the cognitive abilities to know that this one is wrong and this one is right. Unasikia? So anytime you ever sit down and realize, hey, kuna venye nasikia kupiga huu mtoto wangu nimrushe huko, please go and seek mental health advice or look for a psychiatrist or whoever. Talk to someone and don't talk to your friends. Your friends will never help you. Marafiki wako tu watakuambia tu iko poa, uko poa, utakuwa poa, kila kitu itakuwa sawa. Go talk to someone. And in fact, I advise someone, go and look for someone who will give you the fact as it is. Mimi, I tell people, I was depressed some time back. Mimi dem alikuwa ameenda. I went to a hospital in Nyeri. I was in Nyeri County. So I decided that I'm going to look for the most expensive psychiatrist. I went and looked for a psychiatrist in Outspan Hospital. Nilienda Outspan Hospital and this guy was telling me, my friend, what are you doing here? You have no problem. Wewe uko sawa. You see, she left you. It doesn't mean that your life has ended. So anytime you find that these symptoms have persisted and automatically you're not able to work, you cannot wake up in the morning, kazi ni kulia, and you have problems with relationships, seek assistance. Number two, if you're experiencing extreme mood swings that cause problems in relationships. Now, for a long time, watu wamekuwa wakisema that it's only girls who get mood swings. Siku hizi wanaume ni kama wao ndo wanapata mood swings zaidi. I have dealt with some clients and you're shocked, unajiuliza haya, hizi ni zile vitu na expecting kwa wanawake. Jamaa anaongea vibaya, is insulting you, is telling you umbwa, is insulting you, all these kinds of things, and you're like, kwani huyu mzee kuna mood swing? Na venye jana alikuwa anaongea vizuri. So to an extent unapata, the moment you start finding yourself with mood swings, 1 minute you're calling your girlfriend baby girl, another minute unamwambia we chenzi, nipatie chai wewe ubwa. When you find yourself doing something like that, ukianza kupata mood swings, una change. Usiku mkienda kulala mnaongea pillow talk. Lakini ikifika asubuhi, we ubwa, we hebu toka kwangu. When you start experiencing that, believe me, look for help. The next one, and this one I'll be very serious about, when you start getting suicidal thoughts. Yeah? When you start getting suicidal thoughts, unataka kuingia Northern Bypass, lori ya mguu 10 kukanyange. When you start getting such thoughts, look for help. Look for help. Go and look for help. If you have the money, pay for it. Kama huna pesa, can you guys hear me? Niko sawa? Tell me if you can hear me properly. Give me a thumbs up. Give me a thumbs up. But don't worry, by the way, I'm recording this particular session, so hata ukimiss, you will still get a copy of it. So we've said when you're having suicidal thoughts or engaging in self-harm behaviors, please look for help. Please look for help. Unasikia? Saa yenye kidogo kidogo hivi unasikia kujikatakata na mapanga, unasikia kujidunga kisu, unajikata. There are even ladies who do that. The moment you start feeling that unataka kuchukua kisu uanze kujikatakata, unataka kufanya nini, please look for help. It's important for you to understand that. Now, if you are unable to cope with daily problems or stress, if every day ukiamka, you are unable to cope with daily problems or stress, please seek medical or even seek psychological help. But hii ingine ya tano, wacha kwanza we stress this. My friend, umezoea kukula sahani moja, all of a sudden unararua sahani tano once. Ama all of a sudden you've been used to taking food, umekuwa ukikula sahani mbili and you're feeling okay, saa hiyo hata utaki sahani moja. When you realize your eating habits have changed, look at that. Ingine, sex drive. My friend, hii kwanza hii we have to talk about. Sex drive. Yeah? And you know, I believe everyone over here is an adult. When you start realizing jamaa wako anakuguzaguza kidogo kidogo hivi unasikia kumpiga kofi. Or if you're a jamaa, you're trying to load bullets. Is it bullets? Okay, let me look for a word. You're trying to make the gearbox work, but the gearbox is still on gear 1. It is not even showing any sign of moving to gear 3 or gear 4. Bado iko gear 0, haifanyi kazi. Look at the problems you have mentally. Because believe me, this one is actually very fundamental. I believe everyone over here is an adult. So that's why we are talking about this. And you see, me, I'm very frank. Ni vizuri tuseme ukweli, ikuwe ukweli. All right? Ukianza kurealize kidogo kidogo, your wife is like, hey, mtu wangu, good. Then we also have to look at sleeping patterns. Now, normally, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something very important. For any young person, because most of the people over here, now, if you have problems with assessing the session, chat, there is a guy called Onesmus and we have Janet. Those are my those are my two partners. You can text them. Text mwambie you're having this and this problem. That is in this particular session. So when you start realizing your sleeping patterns have changed, please seek help. You see, actually, let me stress this. And I'm going to be very frank. Normally, wacha nikuambie kitu moja. If one day you wake up, like tuseme, you note that umezoea kulala saa 4, nowadays you have to stay until 1 a.m. That's a problem. Yeah? And I'll tell you, someone is having suicidal thoughts daily. My friend, I will tell you this. Weka simu chini, kando, go look for personal help. But we'll still talk about that. Don't worry. Today's session is going to be a very long one. Here we'll talk about it. Ile siku una realize hulali, ile siku you realize that you are unable to sleep. You're struggling to sleep. You're struggling to, make sure umelala. Please seek help. Now, normally, as a human being, because majority of you who are here are youth, kulala, usingizi, is very, very important. Now, for you as a young person, you should get between 7 hours to 8 hours of sleep. Mandatory. 7 hours to 8 hours of sleep. Now, for each person who is here, and whoever is watching me on TikTok, listen. Ikifika saa 4 usiku, stop using your phone. Stop using your phone. You get? Phones are also causing mental health problems. If you have to use something, read a book. Read a book. Ikifika saa 4 usiku hivi, pap, saa 4 usiku hivi, weka simu yako chini. Weka simu yako chini. After that, as a human being, your house, kwenye unalala, most of you have poor sleeping patterns because of your bed. Remember this. Remember this. I want you to get this and get this right. Your bedroom is very, very important. The first most important thing that you need to change is how it looks. Is it silent? Kuna kelele? Get yourself bed sheets zenye una change every 2 times in a week. Every 2 times in a week, you change your bed sheets. But the most important thing is you get sufficient sleep. Very, very important. Ile siku akili yako itaanza kuvura, there are symptoms that actually start coming up. You start feeling headaches, you're exhausted, you're tired. It's important for you to start getting sufficient sleep. Now, remember, we are talking about when to seek help. When you realize that your sleeping pattern has changed, when you realize that your sex drive imechange, mtu wangu unapiga gear 1, haiendi hadi gear 4, yeah? Unajaribu kuambia bibi yako si tufike hapa Nairobi kidogo, and she's like, staki hiyo maneno yako wewe. Yeah, or probably, yeah, it's normal. You see, we are human beings, and we have to mention the fact for what it is. We all have private parts. Yeah, I'm not talking about the other genders. Me, I'm talking about male and female. That is the only genders I recognize myself. So when you start realizing that there's a problem there, you seek help. Another thing, excessive use of alcohol or drugs. I'll give you my personal story. I used to indulge in alcohol before in 2017. Nilikuwa kampo. And the reason I used to do this is because I was having mental health problems. So one guy one day told me, Chief, why do you have to drink alcohol? You wanna stress, my friend. Listen, when you start noting that you're getting mental health, that you're using alcohol and you're using drugs, it is time for you to get help. It is time for you to get help. Go to a hospital, go to Mata Hospital. Go to Mata Hospital waambie sikizeni. Mimi hapa, mimi sitoki kama sijapata usaidizi yangu. You need to listen to my problems. All right? Now, we will move to the next part, which is self-assessment and awareness. All right? And this one is for you. This one, Kwanza, I hope we are still together because now there is an exercise I have for each person over here. And remember, I had shared a document with you guys. I think I have to just open that document up again. So let me just close this sharing so that I can open that document. So let me just open that up again. Now, I think we are still together. Are we still together, ladies and gentlemen? Tuko pamoja. Usidhani, don't be afraid. Give me a thumbs up if we are still together. Okay, very, very good. Now, I hope, can you guys see my screen? Confirm whether you can see my screen. Give me a good, very nice. So we'll move on to our presentation. Now, the first one is you need to encourage self-reflection on personal mental health status. Now, how many people, if you're watching me on TikTok or where, do you sit down and reflect on your mental health? Do you sit down and reflect on your mental health? Do you do that? Unakaa tu hivi unafikiria your mental health. Do you do that? That is the first most important thing. And then, I'm going to share something with you. Now, please, wancha tupatane hapa. I'm actually going to be using one very good example. You need to introduce simple self-assessment tools or questionnaires that can help identify potential mental health concerns, such as, the first one is something we refer to as PHQ-9 for depression and GAD-7 for anxiety. And then we need to encourage open conversations about mental health to increase awareness and reduce stigma. I'll talk about reflection because the next one, believe me, the next topic of discussion, he is very serious, very, very serious. And I want you to have a pen and paper. For every person, I want you to have a pen and paper. Actually, let me just change the settings kidogo so that now I can ask questions. It's important I ask a question because this one now, hapa lazima tuulizane maswali kidogo, lazima tujibizane. We have said we encourage self-reflection. Number two, we encourage open conversations about mental health to increase awareness and reduce stigma. All right? Are we together up to that point, ladies and gentlemen? Tuko sawa? Give me a thumbs up if we are still together. Today's topic is very sensitive and we have to talk about it. Sawa sawa. Now, we want to talk about hiyo kitu nimeita PHQ-9. Now, what is PHQ-9? Now, PHQ-9 is basically an acronym for Patient Health Questionnaire. 9. The questionnaire has 9 questions, which is a widely used self-administered diagnostic tool for screening, diagnosing, monitoring, and measuring the severity of depression. Now, the PHQ-9 is actually used to measure the levels of depression on a person by basically using a questionnaire. Tuko pamoja? Are we still together, ladies and gentlemen? Tuko sawa? Tuko sawa? Tuko sawa? Are we together? Very nice. Now, The questionnaire consists of 9 questions that relate to the symptoms of depression as outlined in the DSM. I will tell you what DSM is in the next slide. These symptoms include number 1, your mood, number 2, your sleep, your appetite, your energy level, your concentration, your feelings of self-worth, and finally, interest in activities. 9 very important questions. Now, DSM stands for Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders. Hii yenye tumeongelelea hapa, DSM. It stands for Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders. Okay? So now we are still talking about PHQ-9. PHQ-9 stands for Patient Health Questionnaire 9. Now, everyone, I want, if uko TikTok, comment PHQ-9. Comment PHQ-9. Don't worry, kama iko na haraka, you will still get a recording of this session. Usi worry, don't worry. I tell people, don't worry. Don't worry, usikuwe na wasiwasi mtu yangu. Don't worry. Comment PHQ-9. PHQ hyphen 9. PHQ-9. Comment that. PHQ-9. All right? Now, and we've said that the PHQ-9 looks at the following factors, the symptoms. The first one is your mood. The second one is your sleep, your appetite, your energy level, your concentration, your feelings of self-worth, and interest in activities. Very good. Now, each of the 9 items is scored from 0, which means not at all, to 3, which means nearly every day. Get that. Don't worry about these terminologies. Based on the frequency of the symptoms over the past 2 weeks. 2 weeks. Unasikia now, we have to talk about the problems that you have in a period of 2 weeks. The total score ranges from 0 to 27. The score is 0 to 27. So remember this, the score is averaged from 0, which means not at all, to 3, which means nearly every day. Now, I want us to look at this. Are we still together? If you are, give me a thumbs up if tuko pamoja. If tuko pamoja, give me a thumbs up. All right? Even on TikTok, give me a thumbs up if tuko pamoja. If tuko pamoja kama serikali ya Ruto, okay. Another explanation is okay. If we are still together, good. Now, the interpretation of the PHQ-9 is from 0 to 4, you are experiencing minimal depression. From 5 to 9, you are experiencing mild depression. From 10 to 14, you are experiencing moderate depression. From 15 to 19, you are experiencing moderately severe depression. From 20 to 27, my friend, wewe uko na depression vibaya sana. All right? Now, I'll give you 2 minutes or 1 minute for you to look at this. 1 minute, you look at it, you think about it, you internalize it. 1 minute. Sawa. Now, tuendelee. We move on. Give me a thumbs up. Do we move on? Good. Sawa. Tuendelee. The PHQ-9 can be used in various settings, including primary care, mental health care, and research. It basically helps clinicians to quickly assess a patient's depression and make appropriate treatment decisions. All right. The benefits is actually it's very easy to administer and score and has been validated in numerous studies. It's also free and available in many languages. Now, there are some limitations with the PHQ-9. While it's a valuable screening tool for depression, it's not a substitute for clinical diagnosis by a mental health professional. So yes, you can use that particular form to understand your level of mental health problems, but you're not limited to actually getting professional mental health assistance. Now, we will do it practically. We will do it practically so that you can see it. Now, to the guys on TikTok, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Tuko pamoja? Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. On TikTok, if you can hear me, if you can see me, if you can see the screen, give me a thumbs up. Okay. Sawa sawa. If you can see me and you're on the Google Meet, give me a thumbs up. Very nice. Now, I'm going to look for one person. I will look for Ronians. Don Roam, you are a good friend of mine. Don Roam, are you here?
I'm here, Elvis. How are you?
Good. Wewe ndio nataka kutumia. Okay? Don Roam,
Yes.
can you hear me? So this is your exam, huh?
I can hear you very clearly.
Hello.
Okay. Don Roam, listen to this.
Yes.
So this one is the form. This one we are filling between you and me. It's a PHQ9. Huh?
Yes.
Now, I want you to do something very simple. Huh?
Yes.
I want you be very honest with me, yeah? As we answer this. Huh? Now,
okay.
This one is a PHQ9.
Yes.
The instructions are these. Over the last 2 weeks, how often have you been bothered by any of the following problems? Now, these are the problems. Don Roam, this one is the first problem. Over the past 2 weeks, okay?
Yes. Yeah.
The first one is little interest or pleasure in doing things. That's the first problem that we have. Now, how bothered have you, umekuwa bothered aje by having little interest or pleasure in doing things? Is it 0? Is it 1? Is it 2? Is it 3? Have you been bothered quite severally?
I can say more than half the days.
More than half the days.
Yes.
So that's number 2. Onesmus?
Yes, sir.
Umesikia amemark number 2?
Yes, namwandikia.
Chukua calculator. Umeweka kwa calculator?
Nimeweka.
Good. Number 2, Don Roam.
Yes.
You've been feeling down, depressed or hopeless in the past 2 weeks. Jibu.
Several days.
So that is 1.
Yeah, I feel I'm not productive.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Feeling down, huh?
Yes.
Number 3 is you're having trouble falling or staying asleep or sleeping too much. In the past 2 weeks, has it happened for several days, more than half the days, or nearly every day?
Nearly every day.
Nearly every day. So that's a 3.
Yeah. I sleep late and wake up late. So
that's 3,
or
right?
I may not even sleep early, but I may sleep at 4 and wake up at 7 or 8.
Hiyo ni noma hiyo, my friend. Hiyo ni noma sana. Haya. Number 4, feeling tired or having little energy. On a scale of 0 to 3, is it not at all for several days, more than half the days, or nearly every day?
Several days. 1.
1, eh? So we do 1. Onesmus?
Yeah, 1.
Yes, sir. I'm counting.
Uko sawa?
Niko sawa, tuendelee.
Number 5, poor appetite or overeating. Don Roam, tuambie.
More than half the days I'm having a poor appetite.
Mm-hmm.
So hata sahi sijapika sapa bado. So
mtu wangu hiyo ni tricky. Haya, so poor appetite or overeating, hiyo ni 2.
Yes.
Number 6, feeling bad about yourself or that you are a failure or have let yourself or your family down in the past 2 weeks. Jibu hiyo swali.
Not at all. 0.
Not at all. So hiyo ni 0.
Yes.
Number 7, question number 7. Just a moment. Please mute your microphone. If someone, please mute your microphone. Okay, very good. Don Roam, question number 7. Trouble concentrating on things such as reading the newspaper or watching television. Jibu hiyo swali.
I don't watch the television, but reading books, my concentration is very high.
It's very high. So you
not,
don't have a problem
yeah,
at all.
I don't have
Very
a problem.
good. Very good. Hiyo ni sawa. Number 8.
I don't watch.
Okay. Number 8 is moving or speaking so slowly that other people could have noticed. All right? Or the opposite, being so fidgety or restless that you have been moving around a lot more than usual. Like when you're talking to people, you're fidgeting, you're restless. How many times has it happened over the
Nearly
past
every
2
day. That is
Nearly every day.
3. Yes.
So 3.
Nearly every day. Yes.
Okay, no problem. Number 9 and the last question. Thoughts that you would be better off dead or hurting yourself in some way. From 0 to 3. Tell me.
Not at all.
Not at all.
Yeah, I feel immortal, so not at all.
Good. Sawa.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
Onesmus, kiongozi.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Umepata ngapi? Umepata
12.
how 12, right?
12.
I've also gotten 12. So now, Don Roam, wacha tuende tuone your value. So basically, on a scale of between 0 to 4 is minimal depression, 5 to 9
Yes.
is mild depression,
Yes.
10 to 14 is moderate depression. So you know Yanko is falling in this category of 10 to 14.
Yeah. See.
That is moderate depression. Mutu wangu hiyo ni noma. That could lead to this, which could lead to this. Ni kweli ama ni uongo?
Ni ukweli. It's true.
You see, the moment you start getting like some thoughts to suicidal thoughts, you're going to jump to this part. No.
I get it.
The moment, so you need to be very careful. That is one sample. Are we still together, ladies and gentlemen? Tuko pamoja. Now, I want a lady. One lady. Raise your hand. Beatrice Wairimo. Beatrice.
Yes.
I cannot hear you. Karen Karanja. Let me use Karen. Karen.
Yes.
Karen, tukutumia as a sample, right?
Sawa.
Okay. This one is your PHQ9. It's the questions I'm going to give you. These are the instructions. Over the last 2 weeks, how often have you been bothered by any of the following problems? Please circle your answer. Now, Onesmus.
Yes, sir.
Fungua calculator tena.
Iko hapo.
Question number 1 for Karen. Little interest or pleasure in doing things. From 0 to 3, Karen, yako ni namba ngapi?
3.
Number 3.
Yes.
Question number 2. Feeling down, depressed or hopeless. 0 to 3.
I feel that almost every time, so I guess it's 3.
3. Trouble falling or staying asleep or sleeping too much. 0
For
to
me,
3.
I might sleep and then wake up at the middle of the night, stay until morning.
So is it you get it several days or more than like 10 times in 10 days in 14 days? More than half the day. So that's a 2.
Yes.
Then we have feeling tired or having little energy from 0 to 3.
3.
3.
Yes.
Then we move to poor appetite or overeating from 0 to 3.
3, because it varies.
Where? Okay. Then we move to feeling bad about yourself or that you're a failure or you have let yourself or your family down from 0 to 3.
That's definitely a 3 on my side.
Okay. No problem. No one is judging Karen over here, and no one should judge her. If you judge her, I'll block you out of this particular session. Number 7, trouble concentrating on things such as reading the newspaper or watching television. 0 to 3.
I said I'll be reading a book, but it has been a challenge. So actually, since I started, I've never moved from where I am.
Mm-hmm.
So it's nearly every day because it's very hard for me to read nowadays.
Pole, no worries. Number 8, moving or speaking so slowly that other people could have noticed, or the opposite, being so fidgety or restless that you have been moving around a lot more than usual. From 0 to 3.
2.
2, eh?
Yes.
Thoughts that you would be better off dead or hurting yourself in some way. From 0 to 3.
3.
Where? What?
I've had
Ah,
those thoughts severally and tried also. So yeah.
I think we need to talk, me and you. Now, Onesmus,
Yes, sir.
hesabu yako imekuja ngapi?
25.
25. Karen,
Yes.
you're suffering from severe depression. Is it true if we say that?
Yes, it is. Even myself, I feel that way.
Well, okay. But don't worry. I hope this session gives you something to stand with. Eh? But now, for everyone, for every person, you need to do that exercise by yourself. You need to do that self-assessment. Now, this is a document I shared with everyone. This is a document itself, and the document itself is actually a summation. And you can actually even get it in form of PDF and try and fill it by yourself. Like when the utik, click on a tick hapa. Then after that, you do your computation and know how depressed you are. Are we still together up to that point, ladies and gentlemen? Tuko pamoja? Give me a thumbs up if you're still together. Okay, very, very good. Very, very good. Hiyo ni sawa. Okay. We'll move on. Let's move on slowly before as we get to wind up, so that we can finish up. So we will move on to the next thing before we get to address the other part. And as you can see, basically the total score is gotten by the sum of all of all the 9 items. Okay. We move on to the next one, which is GAD 7. Now, GAD 7 is generalized anxiety disorder 7. Now, instead of having 9 questions now, we have a questionnaire that is administered so that you can screen and measure the severity of generalized anxiety disorder. Now, how many people have a problem with anxiety? Okay. I can see a number of people have the problem. So anyway, here is my definition on the same. Now, the GAD 7, or the generalized anxiety disorder 7, consists of 7 items that ask about anxiety symptoms experienced over the past 2 weeks. Now, remember again, we are doing 2 weeks. These symptoms include feeling nervous, anxious, or on edge, not being able to stop worrying, and having trouble relaxing, among others. All right. And for these, as you can see, the scoring is the same. So responses to each item are scored on a scale of 0, which means not at all, to 3, which happens nearly every day, based on the frequency of the symptoms. The total score can actually range from 0 to 21, all right, which actually indicates the severity of the anxiety. So we have 0 to 4. When someone has a score of 0 to 4, you have minimal anxiety. When you have 5 to 9, you have mild anxiety. From 10 to 14, we have moderate anxiety. From 15 to 21, we have severe anxiety. Okay. Now, the GAD 7 is actually a very particular useful. It's particularly useful in primary care settings as a straightforward method to identify patients who may have generalized, disorders, especially generalized anxiety disorders, facilitating further evaluation and treatment as appropriate. Okay, that is GAD 7. Now, I want to ask this very simple question. I want one lady. Nimechukua jamaa so much. I want one lady. One lady. I will go with Jennifer Mombi. Jennifer Mombi. Jennifer,
Yes.
can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Are you ready to take this particular quiz?
Yes.
Now, Janet Karuana. Janet,
Yes.
you have a calculator?
Yes, I have.
Good. Now we are doing generalized anxiety disorder, which is GAD 7,
Mm.
for our lady over here, Jennifer. Okay?
Yeah.
But this one is just a sample I had. This one is a patient name anaitwa James. So the instructions are, over the last 2 weeks, how often have you been bothered by any of the following problems? Please circle your answer. So are we still together? Jennifer, are we still together?
Yes, yes.
Now, the feeling of being nervous or anxious or on edge in the past 14 days, how many times has it happened?
More than half the days.
Nearly?
More than half the days.
More than half the days.
Yeah.
Janet, mark that.
Yes, I have.
Number 2, not being able to stop or control worrying. How many times has it happened? From 0, 1, 2, 3. How many times?
3.
Number 3,
Yeah.
then worrying too much about different things. From 0 to 3.
2.
2,
3.
3. Okay. We move to number 4, trouble relaxing. From 0, 1 to 3.
2.
Jennifer?
3.
Yeah?
3.
3.
Yeah.
Okay. Number 5, being so restless that it's hard for you to sit still. From 0, 1, 2, 3.
Not at all.
Not at all. Eh?
Yeah.
Number 6, becoming easily annoyed or irritable. From 0, 1, 2, 3.
Mm.
You're
More than-
easily annoyed. Yeah?
More than half the days.
More than half the days. Then we move on to number 7, which is the last question, which is the feeling of being afraid as if something awful might happen. From 0, 1 to 3.
1.
1. Eh?
Yeah.
Janet,
Yes.
umepata ngapi?
14.
14 is what you've gotten. Now, according to what Jennifer has shared with us, her average actually ranges from 10 to 14, which is moderate anxiety. All right. So, Jennifer,
Yes.
if we say that you're moderately anxious, is it true or is it false?
It's true.
It's true. And you're heading to severe anxiety. Right?
Okay.
You need to be a bit relaxed, cool down, sometimes overthinking. I'm not a psychologist, but sometimes unajua ni vizuri you talk about this because not many of them are talking about all this. So that is Jennifer's. Now we will move on to the next part so that we can get to discuss all this. But remember, I will share some documents with you. That one is I've given you the PHQ-9. All right. And then I'll also share with you the GAD 7. This one is what we refer to as the GAD 7, where it has 7 questions, the feeling of anxiety, not being able to stop or control worrying. This one is actually things that have happened in 2 weeks. So if you're looking to get a copy of these ones are actually shared in all the WhatsApp groups and even in the Telegram channel. You can get all that over there. Get that, na upige hesabu. You sit down, you compute. Like for example, Janet, tuko pamoja?
Yes, tuko pamoja.
Tufanye yangu. Feeling of nervousness, anxious or on edge. I don't feel that.
0.
Not being able to stop or control worrying. I don't feel that.
Mm-hmm.
Worrying too much about different things. Kidogo tu, 1.
Mm-hmm.
trouble relaxing. Mimi nikiingia kwa kitanda nimelala vibaya sana. Being so restless that it's hard to sit still. I sit still, so it's 0. Becoming easily annoyed or irritable. That one is a 0 for me. In emotional intelligence. Feeling afraid as if something awful might happen. Kidogo sometime number 1 or number 2. Now, my Sam has come to what?
That sorry.
30. Jehovah.
3.
30.
3.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry, 3.
I thought it was that. I'm like, kwani, okay. So mine is 3, and I fall under the category of minimal anxiety. You see, and all this is actually stemming from you taking care of your mental health. It's very, very important for you to take care and take consideration of your mental health. Okay, we move on to the next part as we wind up, so that we can get to talk, we chime in. So generally, now, healthy habits for mental well-being. These are healthy habits that everyone needs to adopt. And let me tell you, the first one we'll talk about is exercise. Exercise. This one is very important. Why do you think in primary school, in high school, tulikuwa tunaambiwa twende PE, we go for games? It is to engage you in exercise. I mean, ukikuta mtoto wa miaka 5, 7 akona depression, akona anxiety disorders, this is because huyu mtoto is not exposed to exercise and regular physical fitness. But like most of the time, umaikuta kijana wa kwenu, like if you look at the boys kwa plot yenu, how many times have you seen a young child probably having depression issues or mental health problems? Or even someone who goes to the gym. Ukiona brother yako ama a certain neighbor of you over there going to the gym, they're not going to the gym so that they can look sijui, like they look like the Frankie Hankies or whatever. You need to engage in regular physical activity, which will significantly reduce symptoms of depression and anxiety. Aim for at least 30 minutes of moderate exercises most days. So I'll give you a realistic example. I go to the gym. I have a trainer. He's a personal trainer, anaitwa Batista. And as the name suggests, Batista is tough. So what Batista is going to do, Batista always has a plan. Batista always has a plan for me to exercise. There's a day I exercised for 25 minutes and I was telling him, hey, mtu wangu hiyo, we were doing leg day. So normally when you go to the gym, you decide to exercise every part of your body on a different day. Sasa kama leo we were doing chest, but it was not well done. So I have to go back tomorrow, nifanye chest tena. But regular exercise, it doesn't mean that you have to buff up. Sijui lazima upate figure 8. You have to work on your glutes. It's about you engaging in physical activity that will help you in aiding and preventing symptoms of depression and anxiety. Let me tell you one thing. Kama uko na hizi problems zote, go to the gym one day, ukuje uone venye utalala vizuri usiku. Go sweat. Enda do lift weights. Ukiona dumbbell lift, but usiende tu lift everything. Get yourself a trainer. All right? Exercise. Number 2 is diet. Diet, hapa ndio tunakoseanga. Diet, hapa ndio tunakoseanga. Remember this. You're not told to eat KFC every day. You see, as a young person, let me tell you, the best meal that you can ever eat is a meal that you've cooked for yourself. Is a meal that you've cooked for yourself. Sit down, you and your girlfriend, you plan a meal plan. If you're single, plan a meal plan. Have a meal plan that, number 1, has whole grains. You have some protein. I would advise everyone, make sure you have eggs. Then you need to have greens. Greens are very, very important. And then you need omega-3 fatty acids. You can get that from fish, salmon, and the rest. That is very, very important. You see, most people who are depressed, they rely on KFC. You rely on delivery. You don't want to prepare your own meals. Prepare your own meals. Eat a balanced diet. We talk about sleep. You need quality sleep. Mtu wangu, for you to be very active or even productive, you need quality sleep. One thing I tell people, never ever want to struggle with sleep. Ukiingia kwa kitanda, unafaa kufunga macho, you close your eyes and sleep like a baby. 7 to 9 hours is crucial and important for each and every person. Like for me, kama nafaa kuamka mapema, I like working in the morning hours. If I know I have to be up by 4:30 a.m. in the morning, I have to make sure that by 9 o'clock niko ndani ya blanketi, and the only thing I should have in my bed is a book. Not a smartphone, not a tablet, not a laptop. I don't touch those devices. Avoid that blue screen. That blue screen that you get. Senye uko una scroll to TikTok when you are asleep. You need quality sleep. Then you need to engage in mindfulness practices like meditation, yoga, which will actually enhance mental clarity and emotional stability. Get that. Then you need to bring in hobbies and interests. Vitu zina kufanya you feel relaxed and joyful. Stress management techniques. To people who have stress issues, these are stress management techniques that you can use. Number one is breathing exercises and relaxation techniques. This one mostly involves deep breathing, progressive muscle relaxation, and guided imagery can actually reduce stress. Stress is very important. Stress management is very important. Then we have time management. Mtu wangu, you don't know how to work with deadlines. So you're always stressed. Client anakuitisha kazi for 2 weeks. Wewe ulisema 2 weeks you'll deliver. 2 weeks zimeisha, you've not even started. Prioritize tasks, set boundaries, and take regular breaks to prevent burnout. Very important. Next thing is positive talk and positive thinking and self-talk. Challenge negative thoughts as much as you can. Kama unasikia kujitunga kisu, challenge that. Challenge that and focus on positive affirmations. In fact, let me tell you something. This is what I do. When I want to practice positive affirmations, I go to YouTube and I search for a YouTube channel called Quotes. This is what I search for. And I listen to these quotes. These are very nice quotes for you to listen to. And I'm telling you, the moment you decide, keti tu, listen to these quotes. Keti tu chini, listen to the affirmation that you get. Usiende hapo kujiita baby girl, baby boy, queen, princess, king of kings, whatever. Don't give yourself that nonsensical affirmation. Give yourself affirmations that prove to you that you're able. You get? That is positive thinking and self-talk. Then we have to mention problem-solving skills. Address problems head-on and develop constructive solutions. Very important. Now, the role of community and social support. We are almost done. We are actually almost done. So social connections. Nahi, please, listen to this. Maintain relationships with friends and family. Socializing can provide emotional support and reduce feelings of isolation. You've gotten a girlfriend, you've gotten a boyfriend, you've disowned all your family members. Umesema, it's me and you against the world, baby boy, baby girl. Wacha ile siku huo mtu wako anakuacha hapo. You and me against the world. Mtu wako wa you and me against the world anatembea. You're left crying like a baby. Maintain social connections, my friend. When you start dating, when you get into a relationship with someone, maintain social connections with your friends and family. Call your mother, call your father. Kikiumana, these are the people who will provide emotional support. And especially this one, I'm going to target it to the men and the ladies. For the ladies, listen up. Don't get friends who incite you to doing bad things. For the men, usijifanye gangster, usijifanye Tommy Shelby. Don't pretend that you're Andrew Tate. You're a human being. Look for a friend who you can sit down and tell your problems. For me, I have the friends. I'll call this guy and tell him, hey, chief, hebu sikiza mazee. Mi nimekuwa nikidate Jenny for the past 2 years. Jenny manze amepanga virago na ameenda. Man, venye na feel. And I'm very sure that guy is going to be my emotional support. Huyo Morio atakuwa anakuja ananiambia, mzae umekula, shika hii. Yeah? Social connections. Community involvement. All right? So participate in community activities or volunteer work. It fosters a sense of belonging and purpose. These are the people. Kama una feeling like you're not worth it, una feel like mi hata hakuna mtu anani volunteer. Go ahead and
bring them to your platform and you take 20%. If you brought me a customer, I do work and you take 20%, it makes sense. But so long as it's me who is bringing the customer, I don't understand why you should have a commission. And that's why I chose
Mase Junge, you need to mute your microphone tafadhali.
Sorry.
Oh, who okay. Mi nimeshtuka kidogo, I'm like 20%, I was shocked kidogo, but anyway, at least, okay. We've said community involvement. So participate in activities that or volunteer work. It fosters a sense of belonging and purpose. You need to get that. Then you need support groups. These are very, very important. Like normally when we have, niliona watu wengi sana, the guys who participated in the 5 a.m. challenge, I realized that most of them were only looking for a place to feel, you know, ukiamka asubuhi, you meet a community. And I remember when we had our physical session on Saturday, I realized that most people are actually very happy to be there. So be part of supportive groups. These was actually groups of people with similar experiences, and they can actually provide understanding, validation, and coping strategies. I'm not telling you to go to the next. Usiende kwa wase wenye wanakunywa pombe and be part of those supportive groups. The people who are drinking alcohol will never be a supportive group. They will only waste your time. Finally, you need professional support. Don't hesitate to actually seek help from mental health professionals. It's very, very important. So get that. Digital well-being. Use technology to stay connected, but also mindful of its impact on mental health. You know, sometimes you don't care what you scroll, you don't care what you see, you don't worry about everything that you do on social media. So watch your digital well-being. Now, these are the key points and summary as we finalize that mental health is as important as physical health, and it encompasses emotional, psychological, and social well-being. The difference between mental health and mental illness, and the importance of recognizing signs and symptoms. You have to understand that. Then we also have to discuss cultural aspects of mental health in Kenya. We've talked about strategies for maintaining mental health, such as healthy lifestyle choices, stress management techniques, and the significance of community support. Now, I'm going to give you 10 quotes on mental health as we wind up, ladies and gentlemen. Mental health is not a destination, but a process. It is about how you drive, not where you're going. That is Noam. Hey, these names of these people. Mental health is not a destination, but a process. It is about how you drive, not where you're going. Get that. There is no health without mental health. Get that. There is no health without mental health. What mental health needs is more sunlight, more candor, and more unshamed conversation. That is what we need. We need to be conversations like these ones are the ones we need. The only journey is the journey within. Get that? The only journey is the journey within you, your mental health. Mental health is not a luxury. It is a necessity for anyone who wishes to live their life to the fullest. Umeshika? Mental health is not a luxury. It is a necessity for anyone who wishes to live their lives to the fullest. Very important. Your mental health is everything. Prioritize it. Make the time like your life depends on it, because it does. Your mental health is everything. Prioritize it. Get that. I am not afraid of storms, for I am learning how to sail my ship. Get that. I am not afraid of the storms, for I am learning how to sail my ship. That is Louisa May Alcott. Self-care is how you take your power back. Self-care is how you take your power back. Then we have the struggle you're in today is developing the strength you need for tomorrow. That is Robert Steele. One small crack does not mean that you're broken. If you feel that people are not accepting you, it means that you are put to the test and you didn't fall apart. That is Linda Poindexter. And finally, taking care of your mind is as important as taking care of your body. I repeat that. Juni mimi nasema. Taking care of your mind. Listen, taking care of your mind is as important as taking care of your body. Mimi hapo hakuna kitu ingine naongezea mtu wangu. When we say it like that, hapo tumemaliza mtihani, and you guys need to understand the huge importance mental health, understanding mental health. You need to understand the role that mental health plays. Yeah, it plays a significant role in today's world, and it's quite important that we all understand principles, factors, and everything that is related to mental health. Please get that, because at the end of the day, mental health, hatutaikaa hivi tuseme it's something that we need to take for granted. Anyway, I think up to that point we are still together. Kama tuko sawa, give me a thumbs up. We are done with today's session, and I hope you've gotten a thing or two. All right, I hope you've been able to get a thing or two when it comes to understanding the facet of mental health. So I'll open the platform. I'll open the platform to anyone who wants to speak. You raise your hand if you want to speak, and you have 1 minute. 1 minute. 1 minute alone. You only have 1 minute. Charles Munywa, go ahead. Ruth Mwangi.
Yes, Elvis, how are you?
How are you doing?
Hello, Elvis, can you hear me?
I can hear you, Ruth. I can hear you.
Yeah, now I have a problem. Sijui naeza share na nani privately, like I need somebody to talk to.
You need
But,
some.
yeah, I need somebody to talk to privately.
Okay. What I will do,
Yes.
I want you to take this number. This number is a friend of mine. Huh? He's a psychologist.
Yes.
Let me just get it to you. So, just a moment. I'm looking for the number. Just kidogo tu.
Sawa, nasubiri.
And for anyone, this one is a psychologist. Obviously, it's important that you save their numbers. I think he's closed for now, but he's a friend of mine. His name is Godfrey Mwangi. So what you will do, his number is 0712 0712 072
072
183.
183.
His name is Godfrey, yeah? Godfrey Mwangi.
Sawa.
You tell him you got the number through Elvis on yes. Sinizawa?
Yes, I'll do that.
That should help you.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you.
Right. All right. Malakwen Victor.
Yes, Elvis, good evening.
Good evening, Victor.
Habari ya leo. Sasa mine is just a point of like a word of encouragement. Just realize that kumbe tuko wengi hapa, we are suffering chini ya maji. There is a YouTube channel by the name of Buddhism. The guy amevaa akona shuka hivi ya orange is called Buddhism. Actually, he offers very good lessons concerning mental health, anxiety, depression, name them. And they are very short. They are very short, such that no, wengine tuko na shida ya concentration. So it's not that when you search some, they are long, like 1 hour, 30 minutes. For him, he has very short sessions. Around the longest I've seen is 10 minutes, 12 minutes. They really help. That is what I can say for today. And thank you for the sessions. 5M challenge was great. Tukutane ile evening class.
No problem. Thank you. I appreciate. Nicholas Baruna. Naye kule shao.
Hello.
Yes, Nicholas.
Yes. To my side. Yes, from Kibabu University. I'm only appreciating for the session.
All right. Thank you.
but I'm willing to join the session of night session. Thank you.
Oh yeah. By the way, we have night class, night sessions. We will be
Yes.
having.
Mamgojea kidogo.
We are going to be having night sessions. With the boss. You're shouting to your mom. Mi ningekuwa nishapigwa kofi vibaya sana, my friend. But anyway, okay. So let me just open what we have. So just in any case, unajua ningeitisha sadaka, by the way, lakini wacha nizi, sometimes we hold these initiatives so that you can get to equip yourself with knowledge. Sijaitisha sadaka anyway, sijasema ati kila mtu anitumie sadaka, but to be part of it, you can actually we have night school. It's coming up. We have night sessions in Anza on the 11th of February 2024. Charges are 2,500, but we are running a discount in the channel. We are running a discount of 2150 nainaisha leo. So this is a discount in the channel. So if you haven't registered to get it, you can actually just come and register, and you'll have access to the session. But kutoka kesho ni 2,500. So for anyone who wants to be part of our night session starting on the 11th of when is this? February. Okay? Naya kule shao.
Oh, thank you so much, Elvis, for
All right.
today's session. I just
You're
want to
welcome.
give a few insights on how I was able to deal with my mental health, though I've not dealt with it like fully, but the strategies I used worked. Sometimes it's good to change a position where you are, and it's also okay to shut. Sometimes it's okay to change people, change position, and again, it's okay to shut from the world, like even if it is social media, and to fully focus on yourself. All I can tell everybody who has suicidal thought is that mental health is a journey. You will not be healed one day or 2 days, but if you're willing to accept, that is now where you start with the journey. The willingness to accept yourself and to work on it. Because some people have the mental health issues, but they don't want to work on it.
All right.
Yeah. So thank you so much.
All right. Thank you so much. I think that's very nice. Roy Mohenja. Moffat Mutwiri.
Yes, Elvis, thank you very much for the session.
You're welcome.
I'd like to tell you thank you because the mental health has been an issue which has been very trending, especially in our modern day world, but has not been fully addressed by. So I want to tell you thank you for that session. Yes, and see you on February 11th.
All right. Thank you. Janet Karwana.
Hello, hi everyone.
Hi, Janet.
So I just wanted to say that Karen, if you don't have someone to talk to, you can just inbox me. I'm sure you have my number.
Yeah, Karen. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's all.
Okay. I think let me just give a parting shot. It's 11:01 p.m. Na nasikia baridi juu mimi, I live along Kiambu Road. So baridi huku, especially saidi ya Limuru, is something we encounter. Limuru Road, sorry. So I'll give you some very simple insights for you to understand. And the very simple insights I'll give you is that you're personally responsible for your mental health. Daktari, hakuna daktari mostly. However much we'll have a lot of doctors telling you about mental health and stuff, you have to remember that you're the one who is personally responsible of your mental health. And I'll give you this in terms of an explanation. Don't get into unnecessary relationships. Don't get into toxic workplaces. As a young person, you can get to channel and get into other avenues of life that can even better you. But sasa unakuta mtu wangu, you're getting into a relationship, you're dwelling on that relationship because you think that it's going to be well for you. Listen, don't put a lot of expectations on people. You're the one who is personally responsible of your mental health. Again, I'll give this piece of advice. And this one is for single mothers, especially young ones. The moment you get pregnant for someone and they leave you, get this, it's going to be tough, I understand. But one of the most important things is that you can know is actually how to handle that. For me, I'm not a psychologist, I'm not a psychiatrist. I believe in reality. And I believe in the fact that you can take part of measuring and, having a good life by just you taking care of yourself. Because one of the things that we fight a lot with is our internal wars. Zile vita za ndani ndani. You're feeling like you're inadequate. Take care of that. And that brings me to the final part of this particular presentation today. Self-development and self-improvement. Self-development and self-improvement. Mtu wangu wacha nikuambie, let me tell you frankly, if you are only able to take the chance and take care of yourself, uvae vizuri, you look nice, go to the gym, stop eating junk, read books, watch podcasts. If you spend the whole day scrolling social media videos, stop watching those videos. Achana nazo. Go to the go online and look for podcasts. Because let me not lie to you. If you improve yourself, you work on yourself, you engage in personal development, you grow yourself, you groom yourself, you better yourself, hata mtu nani ana nani akuja, nothing is going to drop you. Believe me. And I'm a testimony when I'm telling you this. You see, in life, you attract who you are. Kama wewe ni mulevi, don't expect that you're going to get someone who is from church or probably someone who is in this. You're going to attract the same drunkards that you hang out with. So the idea is this. You work on yourself to an extent that you better yourself. Unaona ule mtu, like, let me tell you, joy is this. Let me tell you the joy. The joy is when you walk into a hotel, you eat your meal, umekunywa chai yako. The moment you will ever sit down in a hotel, you're not using your phone, you take your cup of chai, you take your cup of coffee, you leave the hotel feeling happy and you've not even touched your phone, na you are alone. Uko sawa. Mtu wangu uko sawa. If you can go to a hotel uambie nipatieni ugali na samaki and you eat that for 10-15 minutes, hujazumbuka na kitu yote, you've not even touched your phone, you're happy. That is more than anything in this world. People have the most money in the world, but most of them are depressed. The biggest thing that you can have is personal investment. How is your body? How is your health? Kama this one is a wake-up call. Kama uendangi gym, go to the gym. Work on yourself. Get yourself some new clothes. Believe me, ukitokea tao and people are telling you, my God, you look nice. Even if you're single, ile jazbana, ile joy utakuwa nayo, it's going to be very good. Relationships. Get this, me, I'm not a relationship advisor. I believe in facts and I believe in the fact that we call a spade a spade. Usiende utafute kinyangarika, ishinde inakusumbua. This one is going to affect your mental health. The moment you realize that munapigana kwa nyumba with someone, walk out. Ukiona kila siku ni makelele, uko wapi, unafanya nini, that is not what you need. That is not what you need as a young person. Watch the relationships that you get into. You will get into a relationship, my friend, 2 years, 3 years down the line. You're depressed. Tunajiuliza kwani umenona aje? You see, most of the people tunafikiria you're big, umenona juu ya kupikiwa. Kumbe ni stress uko nazo. Yeah? Uko na stress, unakula kama kitu ingine, asubuhi, lunch na supper. Another thing that you can practice is fasting, intermittent fasting. When you wake up in the morning, stop eating. Acha kukula. And I want you to go and download a mobile application on your phone. The first one is an app called a habit tracker, one that allows you to track your habits. The second app that you're going to download is a fasting tracker. Fasting is basically going for hours without food. For me, I know at least I can go for 24 hours without eating. I normally fast 2 times in a week. One fast is going to go for 16 hours, and the next fast goes for around 18 hours. So during this particular period, my body is cleansing and detoxing itself. All right. It allows me to have a better aspect of mental health. I go to the gym. If I don't go to the gym twice a week, I try as much as I can to go 3 times in a week. If not, I'll work out in my house. All right. Physical exercise is very important. Then most important, read books. Read books. Start by reading a book inaitwa Atomic Habits by James Clear. Go read that book. It's even in my Telegram channel. Go get that book, read it, understand it, and grasp it. Moreover, improve your life. If you're having hard financial problems, focus on learning a skill. Inflation is going to affect your salary, you will lose your job, but inflation is never going to affect your skills. You will not lose your job because of the skills that you have. They will find you more valuable. Why is it that unapata wala watu wanafutwa kazi ni watu wa casual jobs? You will never hear a full stack developer has been fired. Hutawahi sikia video editor amekuwa fired. Hutawahi sikia, lakini hawa watu wa mkono cameraman nini because there are so many, wao ndo wanafutwa kazi. Tell us, these are the people who are being chased out of work. Get yourself a skill as much as you can. Most important, take care of your mind. Your mind will take care of you when you take care of it. Don't eat stupid food. Watch your diet. Watch the friends you make. Avoid alcohol and drug and substance abuse. That is all we have for the day. Our recording is going to be available tomorrow. You will find it in my Telegram channel. To each and every person, I wind up and say, take care of your mental health. Period. Tosha. Na tuonane siku ingine. Good night. And to any person who's going to be part of the night school, enda ulipe sahi and forward the transaction message to my community manager. Her name is Daisy. I'm looking forward to having you over here. Marcella is here. Marcella happens to be here. Marcella.
Yes. Hi, Elvis.
Hi, Marcella. This is Marcella. Marcella is part of our team. She's a copywriter.
Yes. Thank you so much, Elvis, for the session. I'm sure you've really touched so many lives. And for me, opening up and letting people open whatever they've been holding is the most important. That's the start of healing. So
All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We will have a physical session in February. We will talk about mental health. Na kama utakuja, we will organize that for February. So be part of the Telegram channel. I think it's important for us to have a platform where we can talk. So that will be organized. It's going to be a mental health talk, and more information is going to be shared in the Telegram channel. So be part of it. Ili ukisikia ina happen, you can come. It's important that you guys come and talk. So yeah, thank you guys and have a good night. See you tupatane some other time. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Good night.
Good night.
Yeah, good night.